Hello YouTube, it's Alan. I wanted to make a video about the topic of handwriting, actually, which might seem weird, but it's been on my mind as I've gone through my transition, especially because I'm a professor, so I always am writing on the board in front of the classroom, so I'm aware of other people seeing my handwriting, and, handwriting can be gendered, because think about when you see a piece of handwriting just randomly, you can usually guess if it's a man's or a woman's. I mean, I'm not saying you'll always be accurate, but, clearly there's handwriting that looks feminine and handwriting that looks masculine. Um, so I find that very fascinating. So I don't think that I've ever really had particularly feminine handwriting, although I don't know how masculine it is either. It seemed like a little bit neutral to me, perhaps. Um, so, okay, how should I put this? I guess something I've noticed is that after transitioning, I notice myself sometimes trying to make my handwriting look more manly, especially when I'm writing on the board in front of the class. Like, instead of having writing that's a little slanted, I'll try to make it more up and down. And also, I feel like if my handwriting is a little messy, that might be good in the sense that messy handwriting seems kind of more masculine than really neat handwriting, which is not so good because neat handwriting from any person is always preferable in my point of view. Uh, but I just think it's sort of interesting and funny that we often, or I often, shouldn't speak for others, I often perceive messy handwriting as being more masculine. And I think that might be a male privilege thing, actually, maybe, because maybe boys or men are less criticized for being messy in general and for having bad or messy handwriting. Because if a girl had messy handwriting, it'd be like, oh, that's not proper. You should try to write neater. But if a guy has messy handwriting, it's like, boys will be boys, that's just how guys are, they don't have attention to detail. Of course, that's stereotype or male privilege, which is not always true, and I don't think that should be true. I am kind of a handwriting snob. Anyway, so, okay, I wanted to show you some samples. So this is from my lesson plans for class. So here's an example of my handwriting that I think seems... This is what I would think of as my not super masculine handwriting. This is what I do just out of habit. That's sort of my regular handwriting, so you can see it's slanted. I think it's fine. I like it, but then if I'm trying to write with more masculine handwriting, it would be, as I said, a little bit more up and down, and maybe a little messier in a way, so here's that. Not a huge difference, but that second one is more like how I will write on the board in class. And since I'm aware of the fact that sometimes I try to adjust my handwriting, I've reflected on that, and I don't really like that because in general with handwriting and then all kinds of other aspects of life, behavior, appearance, I just don't like the idea of changing myself to try to fit into the box of a gender role. Just in general, I don't really approve of that. I don't want to censor myself or limit myself purely just to fit into a box. I mean, that does not sound good. So I try not to do that. So my point here is just my observations about myself and observations about what I have done and then, I'm reflecting on that and saying that, well, yeah, I've sort of done it, but I catch myself, and I don't want to try to change myself just to fit a stereotype. So, I don't know, I just found that fascinating. And I'd be very curious to hear if anybody else has thought about their handwriting in terms of gender. Um, Comment if you have any thoughts on that, because I'm very fascinated by handwriting, very fascinated by language, very fascinated by analyzing anything having to do with gender, so please share. Alright, well, that's about it. Thanks for watching. Bye.